Right. Let's find our comfortable seat. If you'd like a cushion or blanket underneath your hips for support, please go ahead and add that. And let's begin by rubbing the palms of our hands together, bringing focus and energy into the palm. And we'll take the fingertips and gently brush them across the forehead, temples, and cheeks. Brushing away any worries or expectations. And bring the fingertips to the eyes, palms to the cheeks, turning your attention inward. And take a couple of deep cleansing breaths. When you're ready, you can float your hands down. Let's lift the heart, shoulders back and down. Reaching the spine up tall. We'll tune in with 3 ohms. Feel free to join in or just absorb the vibrations. Take another deep breath in. Take a moment to absorb the vibrations of the mantra as it connects us all as one. Allow yourself to settle here this Saturday morning and set an intention for your practice, something you'd like to nurture or cultivate within yourself. Bringing your awareness to your breath. With your next inhale, allow the belly to soften and expand. And as you exhale, draw the belly toward the back. Follow your body's rhythm, expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. With your next inhaling breath, expand the belly and open the ribs, reaching them out to the sides. And as you exhale, contract the belly and relax the ribs. Follow your body's rhythm, expanding and opening, contracting and relaxing. With your next inhaling breath, expand the belly, open the ribs, and lift the chest, creating space for your heart. And as you exhale, contract, relax, and lower. Continue this full deep breath, expanding the lungs in all directions with each inhale. Completely releasing the breath with each exhale. As we continue this full deep breath, let's gently shift into the 4-part breath. So we'll add the holds between the inhales and the exhales. So inhaling for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4, exhaling for a count of 4, and holding for a count of 4. Continue following this pattern. If you'd like to lengthen the number that you're counting to, if that feels better, or shorten it, please adjust to whatever feels right for you, just keeping all 4 parts of the breath even. Do one more full round. And when you reach the end of the hold after your exhale, gently return to your natural breath. Taking a moment to notice any changes you feel in your mind or body. remembering that our breath is always with us to help find those moments of peace and calm. Now bringing your awareness to your right hand, allowing the tips of the thumb and pointer finger to come together. And bring those fingertips to the heart center. Turning your attention deeper inward towards your heart, looking within for your inner light and your inner joy. As you find that connection with the light within you, allow its warm glow to flow on the breath throughout your entire body. As you find that connection with your inner joy, allow it to radiate up onto your face in a smile. And breathe it out into the space around you. As we continue our practice, allow your light and joy to flow through each breath and movement, honoring all that you are in each moment. When you're ready, you can float your hand down, gently open your eyes. If you'd like to switch your legs or change positions, please go ahead and do that. And with your next inhaling breath, let's scrunch our shoulders up by our ears. As you exhale, press the shoulders back and down. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Exhale, back and down. Once more, lift and squeeze. And back and down. Sorry, my brain just went. Like, what do I do? Here's my routine. To bring the hands to the heart. 1 week off and my brain just needs a little extra help today. Bring the hands in front of the chest, palms facing down. Tuck the shoulder blades back and down. Lift the heart. Gently strengthening the muscles around the scapula. Then we'll press the elbows back toward each other. Lift the heart. Gently squeezing the center of the shoulder blades toward each other, wringing out any tension. Then opening the arms wide, turning the palms up. Lift the heart a little more. Draw the shoulder blades down, tucking the lower corners of the shoulder blades toward each other. If it feels okay, flexing the wrists, pressing through the palms. And then let's bring the arms in front, crossing the right over the left. Bending at the elbows, hands back to back, or left hand around the right wrist. Elbows up to shoulder height. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears, gently squeezing the arms together. Breathing into the upper back. And gently lowering and lifting the elbows if that feels okay, extending that stretch around the shoulders. And with your next inhale, if it feels okay, lifting the elbows up, gently arching. And as you exhale, gently rounding the spine, dropping the arms down, being careful of your low back. Letting the weight of the arms stretch a little more through that upper back. And with the next inhale, coming back to center. And gently unwrapping the arms, opening wide, pressing through the palms. And then we'll bring the arms in front, crossing the left over the right. Bending at the elbows, hands back to back or right hand around the left wrist. Elbows up to shoulder height, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Gently squeezing the arms together. Breathing into the upper back. And lowering and lifting the arms if that feels okay. And with your next inhale, if it feels okay, gently arching, lifting the elbows up. Exhale, rounding the spine, dropping the arms down. Breathing into the upper back. And with your next inhale, coming back to center, we'll unwrap the arms, extend them out to the sides, and let's gently tuck the shoulder blades. We're going to rotate the palms up and then rotate forward, keeping those shoulder blades tucked, just following your breath, rotating the arms, working on that rotation in the shoulder joint. And then we'll make some circles with the wrists and reverse those. And we'll bring the hands together at the heart, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms out in front, rounding the shoulders, dropping the chin. With the next inhaling breath, lift the palms up, gently arching. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. This time as you exhale, leave the palms up, gently drop the chin down toward the chest. Soften the elbows, roll the shoulders back, gently squeezing the upper corners of the shoulder blades toward each other. Allowing the jaw to be soft. Relax the back of the neck a little more if that feels okay. And again, gently pressing the palms up toward the sky if that feels okay for your elbows and shoulders. With your next inhaling breath, lift the chin. And as you exhale, gently twist to the right, floating the hands down. Left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the right hip. Lift the heart. Exhale, gently twisting through the ribs. Hold and breathe. Allowing the shoulders to be soft. Lifting and twisting through the breath. Keeping the left hand on the knee. With your next inhaling breath, lift your right arm up by your ear. And as you exhale, reach across the body. Lifting your heart. Dropping the right hip, reaching through the fingertips. Chin is gently away from the chest. And with your next inhale, lift the arm up and gently come back to the center with your exhale. Taking a breath in and out. We'll bring the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the left hip. Face forward, deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently twist to the left, head comes around last. Lifting your heart with your inhale, gently twisting through the exhale. Hold and breathe. Keeping the right hand on the knee, inhale the left arm up by the ear. And as you exhale, reach across the body, dropping the left hip, lifting the heart, reaching through the fingertips. Breathing into the side body, creating space. And with your next inhale, lift up tall. And exhale, come back to the center. Let's extend our legs out in front of us. Scooting our feet down toward the end of the mat. Lifting the spine tall, shoulders back and down. Gently flexing the feet, drawing the toes toward us. Engage the quadriceps and draw the kneecaps up. Thinking about engaging both the inner and outer thighs. Pressing through the heels. Trying not to hyperextend the back of the knees as we gently lift those heels off the floor. Hands can rest on the thighs or floor, or you can bring the hands back a little for a little more support of lifting the heart. And with your next exhale, soften the legs. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, gently fold over. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, soften. Hold and breathe, lengthening with each inhale, softening through each exhale. And with your next inhale, lift up tall. We'll bring the hands behind our hips, fingers facing toward the hips. You can bring the feet together and work with inclined plane, lifting the hips here, or bending the knees, bringing the feet hip width apart, and lifting here into reverse table. So whichever feels most comfortable for you. With your next inhaling breath, let's lift the hips high. Exhale, gently lower and hover if that feels okay, keeping those elbows slightly bent. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower and hover. Inhale, lift. This time hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down. Pressing the hips high, elbows are slightly bent. Head extends out from the spine. One more breath. And with your exhale, gently lowering down. And we'll shake out those wrists. And then let's gently roll the rest of the way down. Gently scanning up your body, noticing any parts that feel tired, achy, or sore. Honoring yourself and your body by listening to its messages. Pushing yourself to your edge, but not beyond it. And remembering that each time you do yoga, your body's a little bit different. Let's tuck the shoulders under, lengthen through the spine. Gently bend the right leg, Floating the hands to the knee as you draw it in toward the chest. Lengthening the neck, softening around the hip. Keeping the left hand on the knee, float the right arm out to the side, palm facing down. And as you exhale, gently twist over the left side of the body. Right hip comes off of the mat. Vision toward the right arm. Release the muscles around the hip. Ease the spine into the twist. With your next inhaling breath, come back to the center. Extending the leg up toward the sky, taking a hold behind the hamstrings, calf, or ankle. As you exhale, toes reach toward the ceiling. Inhale, flexing, pressing through the heel. Follow your breath, releasing the front and the back of the leg. Now begin to make slow, gentle circles with your ankle, stretching your foot as far as it can go in each direction. And reverse the circles. Reaching through the heel. Gently releasing the hamstrings by dropping the sitting bones down toward the mat, arching the low back slightly. Now tucking the pelvis, drawing the leg toward the torso just as far as feels okay. Pressing through the heel, belly muscles draw down. With your next exhaling breath, lift the head and chest toward the leg. Inhale, lower the head and chest. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down. You can stay here or gently flex the left foot, lifting it slightly off the floor. And you can stay here or release the arms. Belly muscles are nice and strong. Neck is long, reaching through the heel. Gently lowering the left leg. Inhale, lower the head and chest. Exhale, gently lower the leg down. Once you reach the floor, take a deep breath in and out. Then let's bend the left leg, floating the hands to the knee as you draw it in toward the chest. Tucking the shoulders under, lengthening through the neck. Releasing the muscles around the hip. Keeping the right hand on the knee, allow the left arm to fall out to the side, palm facing down. And as you exhale, gently twist over the right side of the body. Left hip comes off of the mat, foot comes across toward the floor, vision toward the left hand, as much as feels okay for your neck. Releasing the muscles around the hip, easing the spine into the twist. With your next inhaling breath, come back to the center, extending the leg up toward the sky. Take hold behind the hamstrings, calf, or ankle. As you exhale, toes reach toward the ceiling. Inhale, flexing, pressing through the heel. Follow your breath. Now begin to make slow, gentle circles with your ankle, stretching your foot as far as it can go in each direction. And reverse the circles. Reaching through the heel. Gently drop the sitting bones down, arching the low back. And then gently tuck the pelvis, drawing the leg toward the torso just as far as feels okay. Continuing to reach through the heel. Belly muscles draw down. And if it feels okay with your next exhaling breath, lift the head and chest toward the leg. Inhale, lower the head and chest. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down. Lengthening through the neck, reaching through the heel, belly muscles are strong. Stay here, or if it feels okay, flex the right foot, lift it a few inches off the floor. And you can stay here or release the hands. Gently lower the right leg. With your next inhale, lower the head and chest. And as you exhale, slowly lower the left leg. Once you reach the floor, take a deep breath in and out. Let's gently bend the knees, placing the feet on the floor. And let's walk the feet out a little bit to the edges of the mat. And we're going to rock the knees back and forth, kind of like windshield wipers. Just letting them drop to the right and the left. Sort of noticing where you feel any tightness or tension, maybe in the hips or the IT bands or the knees. Seeing if we can loosen that up a little bit. The next time you're on the left, go ahead and stay there. And then if you can just rest for a moment, or if it feels okay, you can bring your left foot on top of your right knee. Really feeling that stretch down the IT band into the hip. If that feels like too much, please leave the foot on the floor. Notice if you can soften and let go. And we'll take that foot off of the knee, come back to the center, and drop the knees to the right. Again, staying here, or if it feels okay, bringing the right foot on top of the left knee, adding that little extra stretch. Softening and relaxing. And then removing the foot, bringing the knees back to the center. Let's bring the knees over the torso, hugging them into Apanasana. Breathing into the low belly. With your next exhaling breath, draw the belly down, lift the head and chest toward the knees. Inhale, lower the head and chest. Exhale, lift, pulling with the belly rather than the neck. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down. If you feel like you need support behind your head, you can place one or both hands behind the head as well. And with your next inhale, lower the head and chest. And let the breath go. From here, you can either roll to your side, pressing up with your hands, or slip your hands behind the knees, kick your feet over your head, and gently rock up. And then let's come forward onto our hands and knees. So we'll bring the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Soften the elbows, head extends out from the spine, tucking the shoulders back and down. Belly draws up, strong table pose. Taking a breath in and out. With your next inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the spine, lift the chin. Exhale, tuck the tailbone around the spine, drop the chin. Inhale, lifting, spine follows. Exhale, rounding. Follow your breath, strengthening the back on the inhale, releasing it on the exhale as you draw the belly up. And with your next inhaling breath, let's come back to the center. Keeping the elbows soft as you exhale, let's bring the right shoulder and hip toward each other, gently squeezing those side muscles. Inhale to the center. Exhale, left shoulder and left hip squeezing toward each other. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Follow your breath once more on each side. And let's tuck the toes under, press the hips up and back, downward dog. Softening the knees, reaching back through the hips. Head is between the arms with the chin away from the chest. Think about rolling your shoulder blades back toward each other, supporting the shoulders and the arms. If it feels okay, you can begin floating the heels toward the floor and gently lengthening the back of the legs. Be careful not to lock the knees. Lifting up through the sitting bones, rooting through the hands and the feet. Noticing small shifts that you can make to support yourself and extend the pose. Softening the knees. We'll gently roll forward onto, or excuse me, bringing the shoulders over our hands, holding into plank. If you need to come down to forearms, go ahead and do that if it's bothering your wrists at all. Head extends out, shoulders back and down, belly drawn up. You can also bring the knees down if that feels better at this moment. Take one more breath. And with your exhale, we'll bring the knees down, gently lower the chest the rest of the way down. Taking a breath in and out, leaving the hands underneath the shoulders. We'll zip the feet together, pressing the pelvic bone down into the mat. And with your next inhale, let's lift the head and chest into a gentle cobra. Exhale, lower the head and chest. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down. You could also lift the hands off the floor if that feels all right. And with your next exhale, lower the rest of the way down. And let's bring our elbows underneath our shoulders, coming into Sphinx pose. We'll spread the fingers wide, elbows stacked under the shoulders, keeping the legs zipped together. We're going to start with just softening the muscles, kind of letting them hang on the bones. And then we'll begin with pushing the top of the feet into the mat, beginning to engage the muscles through the legs. Press the pelvic bone down into the mat, engaging the glutes and the buttocks. And then from the base of the spine, gently begin to lift. Pressing into the elbows, lift the heart. Vision comes up gently, shoulders are tucked back and down. Press the tips of the fingers into the mat. Reaching from the toes to the crown of the head. One more breath. And with your exhale, gently soften. Let's interlace the fingers. Keeping those elbows underneath the shoulders. We'll tuck the toes under and press the hips back into a modified downward dog. My feet are slipping. And kind of walk our feet up toward our face a little bit more. So you can be in that modified downward dog, or if it feels okay, you could shift the crown of your head into the palms of your hands, walking your feet even closer, lifting the hips up high into dolphin. So either modified downward dog or moving into dolphin, whatever feels best for you right now. Pressing the elbows into the floor. And then we'll drop our knees down, coming into child's pose or reclined puppy. Rounding the spine if you're in child's pose, forehead to the mat. If you're in reclined puppy, having the hips stacked up over the knees. Making sure the forehead has somewhere to rest on the mat, on a block, or on stacked fists. Breathing into the spine, creating space between the vertebrae. Release the weight of the body to the earth. Then let's bring the hands under the shoulders, roll the spine up, and roll the shoulders up and back and down. We'll tuck the toes under. You can stay in a kneeling position, or if it feels okay, you can sit back onto the heels. You could also bring the hands down to the mat and just work on pressing back, stretching the bottom of the feet. One more breath. And then we'll bring the hands to the mat and press the soles of the feet back down. Coming into Uttanasana, forward bend. If you'd like to have a block underneath your hands or bring the hands to the shins or knees, please do that. Finding that support that feels comfortable for you right now. Feet are hip width apart. Soften the knees and press actively into your feet. Let the spine lengthen down, ribs resting on the thighs if that feels okay. And then gently press the hips up a little higher. Really thinking about keeping the knees slightly bent, but lifting through the sitting bones and the hip. Rather than thinking about straightening the legs, we're thinking about lifting those hips and sitting bones up high. Lengthening through the spine, relaxing the back of the neck. And with your next inhale, sweep the hands out and up, palms together over the head. And exhale, hands to the heart. Let's work with eagle as our balance pose today. Get a little more to drink. So if you want to use the wall for balance, go ahead and have your back to the wall, but be a few inches away from it. So that when you bend your knees, that's when you'll get that support, touching the wall with the hips. We'll have our feet hip width apart, spine tall, shoulders back and down, belly strong, knees soft. Lift the toes, spread them wide as you lower them down, and shift the weight to the left foot, finding a focus spot for your gaze, and coming up to the big toe of your right foot. We'll gently bend the left knee, hinging at the hips, so bending the hips and the knees. You can stay here. You can bring the arms out to the side for balance support, or you can lift that right leg over the left, keeping the foot in the air on the floor or wrapping it around the calf. Lifting the heart, tucking the shoulders. Remember that wobbling and falling is part of balancing. Stay here or cross the arms right over the left, bending at the elbows, hands back to back, or left hand around the right wrist as we did earlier. Softening the shoulders away from the ears, gently squeeze the arms and legs together if that feels okay. And again, if it feels okay, you could drop the hips a little bit more, but really pay attention to the knee, making sure we're not overdoing it and making sure the knee's not pressing out over the toes. Listening to your body. Woo. When you're ready, gently unwrap and shake out the arms and the legs. Yes, my thigh definitely told me when I was done. All right, we'll find our balance on both feet again. Spine tall, shoulders back and down, belly strong, knees soft. Lift the toes, spread them wide as you lower them down. Rooting into the feet, finding a focus spot for your gaze. Shift the weight to the right leg, bending that knee slightly, and coming up to the big toe of the left foot. We'll hinge at the hips and the knee. Arms out to the side for balance if you would like. Stay here or lift that left leg over the right. Foot can be on the floor, in the air, or wrapped around the calf. Stay here or add the arms left over the right, crossing, bending the elbows, hands back to back, or right hand around the left wrist. Soften the shoulders. Oh, I'm a little more wobbly on this side. I'm gonna kickstand my toe down. Bend the knees a little deeper if that feels okay. Listening to your body. And gently coming out when you're ready, unwrapping those arms, shaking out the arms and legs. All right. Oh, my mat is slipping this morning. Let's come to the short end of your mat. And we're going to step back with the right foot. We're going to keep the hips facing the short end of the mat, so we don't want to come back too far. And you want to make sure that your feet are not stacked right in front of the other. We want a little width with them now to give us a little more support. So we're going to inhale the arms up over the head and exhale, gently bending the left knee, coming into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Making sure our knee doesn't go past the toes. If this is bothering your shoulders at all, bring the elbows out to cactus or bring the hands back to the heart. And think about pressing through that right heel. Right hip forward, left hip back, squaring the hips with the front of the mat. If it feels okay, whichever position your arms are in, you can add a little arch, opening the heart. And with your next inhale, lifting up tall and floating the hands down. We'll interlace the hands behind the back, rolling the shoulders back, lengthening the arms as much as feels okay. Deep breath in as you lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, extending the spine out over the leg. Inhale, lift and lengthen, strengthening through the back. Exhale, gently folding over. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Once more, exhale, folding over. Pressing actively into both feet, lengthen through the back of the neck. Soften through the hamstrings, allowing the torso to come down as far as feels comfortable. You can keep the hands just resting on the low back, or if it feels okay, you could press the palms together, roll the shoulders back, and lift the arms up over the back of the head, opening the chest. Squeezing those shoulders and then softening. Keeping both legs active. Bringing the hands back to the low back and then floating them down to the floor. We'll shift our weight to the left foot and lift the right leg behind us. Keeping the hands on the floor, think about lengthening the spine down over the leg. And if it feels okay, lifting that right leg up behind you as high as you can. And then we'll gently lower the right leg, planting it near the left, softening through the hamstrings as we lengthen through the back of the neck, of the spine. And then sweep the hands out and up. Palms together over the head. Exhale, hands to the heart. And take a breath in and out. We'll do the other side. I will switch sides, so I'll be open to you all. So standing at the short end of the mat, we'll step back with the left foot. Hips facing that long end of the mat. No, sorry, short end of the mat. And again, we want to have the feet hip width apart so they're not stacked right in front of each other. Helps us balance better. With your next inhale, let's bring the arms up over the head. And as you exhale, bending the right leg, stacking that knee over the ankle, pressing through the left heel. We'll square the hips by pressing back through the right and forward through the left hip. Again, adjusting the arms, elbows out like cactus or hands to the heart if that's bothering your shoulders to have them up over the head. Pressing actively into both feet. If it feels okay, you can add a gentle arch from whichever hand position you're in, or arm position, I guess. And with your next inhale, gently straighten the leg, and exhale, float the hands down. We'll interlace the hands behind the back, roll the shoulders back, lengthen the arms as much as feels okay. Lengthening through the spine of the head, or the crown of the head. Sorry. As you take a breath in, and as you exhale, hinging at the hips, pressing forward, reaching out over the leg. Inhale, lift and lengthen, coming up tall again. Exhale, extending over the leg. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, folding over. Hold and breathe, lengthening through the back of the neck, pressing back through the right hip, and folding over as far as feels okay, letting the ribs come toward the thighs, dropping the head. Both legs stay active by pressing into the feet. And if you'd like to add the chest opener, you can press the palms together, roll the shoulders back, and lift the arms up over the head. You can always do this with a strap too if this doesn't feel good to have your palms together, if it's too much torque on your elbows. Gently squeezing those shoulders together if you're doing the chest opener, and then softening again. And then we'll bring the hands to the low back and drop them down to the floor. Shifting our weight forward onto the right foot, we'll lift the left leg behind us, folding the torso down over that right leg as much as feels okay, and then lifting the left leg as high as feels okay if it works for your body in this moment. And then gently lowering the left leg back down to meet the right, softening through the hamstrings and the low back. And with your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up, palms together. Exhale, hands to the heart. And let's turn to face the long end of our mat. We're going to spread the legs nice and wide. Both feet facing the long end of the mat. We'll inhale the arms up over the head, lifting the torso up out of the pelvis. Exhale, swan dive, arms out to the side, folding over, dropping the hands down underneath the shoulders onto the floor or block. Soften the knees, press actively into your feet, and again, lift up through the sitting bones, just like we did when we were in Uttanasana with our feet together. Pressing the feet down, knees stay soft as the hips reach up high, lengthening the hamstrings. Keep the spine nice and long, lengthening the low back. So it's an active pose as we press into the feet, reach out through the crown of the head, and press back through the sitting bones. And then gently lowering the head and chest toward the floor if that feels okay. If you find your spine rounding, just lift the chin away from the chest to help lengthen. Let's walk the hands over toward the right leg. Hands on the floor, block or leg. Turning the torso to face the thigh as you lengthen down over the leg. Pushing into the right foot as the right hip lifts up high. Then bringing the hands to the mat, let's lift the toes of the right foot and point them toward the short end of the mat. Hands will come on the inside of the foot. We'll come onto the toes of our left foot, coming into lizard pose. The knee can be in the air or on the floor. You can come down onto the forearms if that feels okay. And if you'd like, you can let the right knee fall out to the side as you come to the outer edge of the foot. So finding the variations that feel okay for you in this moment. Really opening through that right hip as much as feels okay. Then coming back onto the hands, we'll walk back to the center, turning the foot, both feet to face the long end of the mat, lengthening the spine, softening the knees. We'll walk the hands over toward the left foot, hands on the floor, block or leg, turning the torso to face the thigh as you lengthen down over the leg. Pushing the left foot into the mat, reaching the left hip up toward the sky. We'll bring our hands to the mat, lifting the toes so they point toward the short end of the mat and bringing the hands on the inside of that left foot. Coming up onto the toes of the right foot, dropping the hip down. Knee can be in the air or on the floor. Can stay on the hands or come onto forearms. And again, you can let that left knee fall out to the side, coming onto the outer edge of the foot. Opening up wherever you feel the need in this moment to however much extent feels right for your body. And then we'll come back onto the hands, walk back to the center, pressing into both feet, lifting up through both heels, nice long spine. And we'll walk the feet closer toward each other, stopping just outside of hip width apart. Bending the knees, coming into Malasana squat. You can come into the high squat. Could use a block between the heels, just losing my words today. Behind the heels in the center, there we go. Dropping the hips down onto the block or by the heels if that feels okay. Or coming all the way to the mat, walking the feet out a little farther. You can press the elbows or upper arms into the thighs or knees, opening the hips. Tailbone reaching down toward the floor, lengthen through the spine. And when you're ready, coming the rest of the way down, let's meet in Baddha Konasana with our feet, the soles of the feet together. Can take hold at the toes or ankles, lengthening through the spine. Think about pressing the feet together. You'll notice the knees will lift up. You'll engage those inner groin muscles. And then gently soften. And now engage the outer hip muscles, drawing the knees down just as far as feels okay for you today. Can stay here or lengthen the spine a little more and begin hinging at the hips, tilting the pelvis forward as you reach the spine out over the feet. Listening to your body. And with your next inhale, lift up tall. We'll bring the hands to the outside of the knees. Bring the knees in together and give them a little hug. Rounding the spine. And then let's come back to a cross-legged position. Lengthening the spine up tall, shoulders back and down. With your next inhaling breath, reach to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, drop the right ear over the right shoulder. Tuck the right shoulder back and down, breathing into the left side of the neck. Relaxing and releasing through the breath. Gently letting go. With your next inhaling breath, come back to the center. And as you exhale, drop the left ear over the left shoulder. Tuck the shoulder back and down, breathing into the right side of the neck. Heart stays lifted. Gently soften and lengthen through the breath. With your next inhaling breath, come back to the center. And as you exhale, turn your chin over your right shoulder. Shoulders tucked back and down, heart is lifted. Hold and breathe. With your next inhaling breath, come back to the center. And as you exhale, turn the chin over your left shoulder. Heart lifted, shoulders back and down. Hold and breathe. With your next inhale, come back to the center and let the breath go. Let's bend the knees, coming to the center of the mat. If you'd like to go ahead and put on socks or your cover up a little, you're welcome to do that now as we start to slow down. So when you're ready, you can bring the hands behind the knees, round the spine, and gently roll back. We'll bend the knees, lifting the feet up into the air. You can rock your hands or a block underneath the hips to support the legs. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Ankles and knees are relaxed as you breathe into the belly. And let's bend the knees. Rock the hands or block out from underneath. Gently hugging the knees in. Can rock a little from side to side if that feels okay. You can also bring the knees in and out, making small circles with the low back. And if you're making circles, you can reverse them. If you'd like one last twist, you can bring the arms out at shoulder height, knees together, gently dropping them down to the right, vision to the left, softening around the hip and through the spine. With your next inhale, come back to the center. And as you exhale, gently lower to the left, vision to the right, softening through the hip and spine. With your next inhale, come back to the center. Lower the feet down. You can walk the feet out to the edges of the mat and rest the knees together, or extend the legs out. You can also add a bolster or a pillow underneath the knees. And if you'd like to go ahead and cover up with a blanket to keep the warmth in your body, please go ahead and do that. So having the feet about hip width apart, arms slightly away from your body with your palms turned up. Press your shoulders back and down. Face is looking up toward the ceiling. Relax your forehead. Soften your eyes. Loosen your jaw. Gently bring your awareness back back to your breathing, allowing each inhale to fill you with a sense of peace and calm, allowing each exhale to release anything that no longer serves you. Let the breath bring you back to your heart center, reconnecting with the light and joy that always reside deep within your heart. Let each breath fill your heart with loving kindness for yourself, sending that loving kindness on the breath to each and every cell of your body, honoring all of who you are in this moment. Gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch in whatever way feels comfortable for you. When you're ready, you can gently bend your knees, roll to your side, and rest there for a moment. And then gently return to a seated position. We'll end with the metta blessing of loving kindness. Please feel free to join in. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings have peace. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. The light in me honors the light in you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. For our world, for our communities, for ourselves. Thank you all so much for joining me today.